Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to F1 2019 Bahrain modern car versus classic car. Now, obviously, I know it's daytime, obviously, right now in Bahrain, and the race is, well, qualifying and the race is at nighttime. But, obviously, today we're going to drive around this lovely circuit of Shakir, obviously, here in the desert of Bahrain. And literally centralized in the desert, okay, of Bahrain, obviously. So, you do get a mixture of races, a lot of sandstorms as well, usually sometimes at this circuit. But it's a nice circuit, actually. Probably one of the best circuits when it comes to pure racing, because it allows for good overtaking, it allows for good battling. Because, as you can see, look how long this straight here is. And in Bahrain, we've got, okay, quite a few straights, actually, to be precise. You've got, obviously, this is the back straight. Well, I wouldn't say back straight. It's the straight before we get onto turn 1, then down into turn 1, then you got another straight down there, then you got the back straight, second DRS straight, then it's quite, there's a lot of straights here, put it that way, okay. So obviously, we're going to have a quick look, obviously, at the McLaren, okay. Today, we're going to be driving the two McLarens, okay. The McLaren of 08 and the McLaren of 2018 Renault, of course. So this is the McLaren Mercedes of 08, McLaren's last World Championship winning car, should I say. And yeah, you know, obviously in recent years, obviously been having turbulent times, obviously, a bit like, well, not like Ferrari, because Ferrari's actually had some quite decent times in recent years, actually. But, obviously, when it comes to World Championships, just like Ferrari, nothing for the last, well, nothing for the last 5 years or so. So, obviously, you know, this car was quite nice, actually, I think, personally. To me, it reminds me a bit of a spaceship, if you know what I mean. Like, all the bits coming off it, even the side pods and all that, you know, and these little wings. It's just so creative, and that's what I love about these V8 cars. They're more creative than probably the cars we've got now, realistically. Like, don't get me wrong, obviously they had a problem with dirty air, but in actual fairness to probably the older cars, the 08 cars, in fact, they probably overtook more, and that was probably because of refueling, and because obviously it gave us a mixture of races, but they didn't have DRS, drag reduction. Do bear that in mind, okay? So, you know, even though this car may end up being slower than the McLaren of 2018, that wouldn't surprise me, but you got to remember, with DRS, maybe these could be a lot faster. Got a bit of a bad throat today, a bit of rough throat, sort of thing. But yeah, you know, obviously a very, very nice car. Okay, the McLaren Mercedes. Obviously, it had a Mercedes engine, and you just heard me say that. As you can see, Mercedes-Benz sponsorship on the side, of course. So yeah, McLaren used to use Mercedes engines back in the day. And realistically, over the years, I had a fairly successful relationship with McLaren, well, with Mercedes. Partnering them for quite a decent amount of time. After the Honda era, of course, ended. Then they went back to Honda, didn't work out second time round, and now they're with Renault, obviously. So yeah, you know, lovely, lovely car, actually. But I think, okay, that today's video will be really, really close between the McLaren of 08, okay, and the 2018 McLaren. I don't know how close, but last time, I remember when we did this, actually it was only half a second, or what I remember, between the McLaren of 08 and the 2017 McLaren. Now, the McLaren of 2018 is faster, probably, than the last year, well, than 2017 Honda McLaren, but nonetheless, we'll see. Right, let's get on with it. Going the wrong way. We're going to do two types of laps. We're going to do a standing start, okay, and we're going to do then a rolling start. So, sort of thing. So, obviously, with the standing start, what we'll do, we'll line up in the grid box, which will be here. We'll go into neutral, build up revs, then obviously put it in first gear, and we should accelerate away. So, in 3, 2, 1, let's go. And the reason why we're doing this is to see which car, obviously, will have the better of the two laps. Because this will sort of tell us how the car handles via the course of really like a race sort of distance. So into now the middle sector, or towards the end of the first, as we go through first sector. Nice through there. Now it's all about acceleration off that corner. Sometimes you do get a bit of slide. Downhill braking can be tricky. Spot braking zone there. Up the hill. I will say these cars do handle quite nice, in all fairness. They handle firmly, sort of thing. Right, now for obviously the lap from obviously like a rolling start, I would say, obviously. So doing a 1:36. Now we're gonna do obviously basically the rolling start. And this was our balls. Right, we'll start again, of course. Doesn't matter if we do that too many times, as long as we don't do it too many times. We're fine, sort of thing. Right, off final corner. There is no car setup as well for this. You know. Now the reason why I've chosen McLaren, obviously, some of you may or may not know that McLaren actually have some strong partnership in this part of the world. So obviously this is sort of like, it's not a home Grand Prix for McLaren, but it's certainly a Grand Prix where I think McLaren would want to impress their sponsors and shareholders, of course, because obviously it's like a home away from home sort of thing, if you know what I mean. Ah, for crying out loud. Yeah, as I was saying, it's like a home away from home sort of thing for McLaren. Right, we'll try it one more time, obviously. This time, really gonna focus here. Now, I think there's a few teams that would want to impress this weekend, one of which Ferrari, of course, for obvious reasons, but obviously I think them two teams, McLaren and Ferrari, will be the two teams I'll have the biggest eye on this weekend. McLaren for obviously, because it's sort of like a additional, as I say, away from home Grand Prix. But for Ferrari, obviously, to hope that the pace from Australia will not show, well, will be better than obviously Australia, up there competing with the likes of Mercedes. Right now doing quite a nice lap so far. We're ahead of that 2004 Ferrari. Into the final few corners now. Through the final corner.
That last lap was
okay, a 1:32.2. So we'll log down them 2 times, then we'll get in the McLaren of a 2018 McLaren, of course, and see how the McLaren of 2018 compares to well, compares to the McLaren of 2008. So first lap was a 1:36.421, so not bad, in all fairness, for the McLaren. And obviously, the second lap. So obviously the second lap was a 1:32, so 1:36.421 plus a 1:32.234. So interesting there, obviously. Obviously, I have no idea how that's going to compare to the 2018 McLaren. Obviously, the McLaren Renault, but we're about to find out. And obviously, we're just going to have a quick look at this car, obviously, before we get into it, obviously. So, obviously, I do reckon it will be faster, but the question is, how much faster? See, last season, actually, McLaren started the season really good, actually, I think, last season. Probably their best start to a season in recent years. I think they actually finished 6th here last season, of what I can remember. Or did they? I can't remember. But I definitely know they finished well. They didn't finish bad. But they didn't finish great either, of course. But I think they'd be a lot more happy with the performance they did in 2018 than they were in 2017, of course, with Honda. But, you know, we're just going to have to see, obviously, what goes down here. So, obviously, let's just take a quick look at, obviously, this McLaren. Okay, now, obviously, this is technically the more updated McLaren in the game. So, this would not be the same McLaren that was ran back in Australia, Melbourne, back in 2018 at first Grand Prix. This was when they introduced the 2018 McLaren at what circuit? Barcelona, that was it. At Barcelona, obviously. A few weeks into the season, of course. And as you can see, again, so much technical going on here with front wing designs. Obviously, that's where, obviously, it's been all cleaned up for this season. To be precise. But what I find interesting here, there ain't probably as much going on as maybe what you see on maybe other cars. It's actually more with McLaren. I find they're doing more around the nose cone rather than on the actual front wing. So I don't know whether they're trying to utilize maybe something here, trying to direct the they're probably trying to direct the airflow probably through the middle and through the central body of the car. Now, maybe that's why maybe McLaren haven't been successful in recent years. I think it could be aerodynamics. And obviously, again, on here, very, very complex, obviously, in terms of barge bod sort of thing. I usually be able to pronounce that word. I don't know, I've forgotten it. Oh well. Anyway, barge boards, that's it. So obviously, very, very complex barge boards going on in the centre of McLaren. And in fact, if we just do something quickly, I'll just show you what I mean quickly. As you'll see, we're just gonna up the exposure here. You can just see what I mean, okay, in terms of how complex that McLaren barge board systems are. Really, really complex, especially from a top-down view, of course. You know, at the end of the day, they really, really are complex. And then even here, as you can tell, what's just going on with the front winglets, obviously, it really, really does help. And then if we actually have a look at, you know, even the, you know, floor, you can just really see the complex details going on. Is this car been overthought, maybe? Could that be the case here? You know, even looking, obviously, when we look at, obviously, the rear of the car, it's not so maybe much. Obviously, I'll put the exposure now back on to normal. How normal, though? It's about... I think that's about right, usually. I'll just do that. Oh, there we go, that's better. Now, from the rear of the car, again, just lots going on at the rear. Probably got, I think McLaren have one of the most complex rear wings on the grid actually, when it comes to rear wings. And Ferrari sort of emulated that design late on in the season. Now, some say that could have cost Ferrari the championship. Personally, I think it was a factor, yes, but obviously, I just don't know. Whether or not it worked, I don't know. But weirdly, Ferrari have reintroduced it into their car. Could that really kill the pace of that Ferrari this year? Maybe that could be a reason why the Ferrari is slow, or slower than we thought. Maybe it's a wing that only really works at maybe certain tracks, you know. So yeah, yeah, it's a nice car though. The floor is obviously very complex again, as I say, you know, that's probably the most complex floor. But yeah, anyway, we'll get on with the lap then. Well, the 2 laps. Obviously, doing the same thing, standing start, obviously. And then we're gonna do a rolling start to really give us a comparison in terms of how maybe good the McLaren is. So, right. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, let's go. So, we're away. Now, I think there's less wheel spin personally. And we've lost less time off the start line personally, but nonetheless. Obviously, into now turn 4 through 5, 6, 7, down a hill through 8, then 9. Oh dear. Into turn 10, just went a bit wide, so obviously that's certainly going to affect the lap slightly. Now I am running with no DRS because on a starting grid lap, obviously there would be no DRS, as you can hopefully understand. But next lap I will utilise the DRS, because on a qualifying lap there would be. Right, so we're going to utilise obviously DRS now. It will probably give us a little bit of gain, but a 134.2 interestingly. So I said it was going to be close. Am I wrong? No. The thing is about these cars, you really feel the front downforce work. And the whole package really comes together in these cars. Taking a bit of curb there. Alright, through the final corner. And it's a 130.5. So that's not bad. There we go then, obviously. In terms of our comparison laps, obviously. And we got 2 clean laps there. And I think representative laps. So yeah, quite interesting. What's that? 2 seconds quicker okay, on each of the 2 laps. I'm pretty sure the first lap we did a 1:34 point. It was 1, I think. So, you know, let me just have a look quickly. What it was, obviously. Yeah, it was 1:34.219. So that's all right, you know. And then the second lap was a 1:30.5. Was it 19 or 16.16? So yeah, you know, not bad actually. 2 laps there. So in comparison, what we can say, realistically, both of them gained 4 seconds on their second lap, roughly. Okay. Also, we can say the 2018 McLaren Renault is about just under, I'm going to say. Well, on the first lap, it was actually 2 seconds quicker, okay? Over 2 seconds quicker. It was about 2.2. But on the second lap, it was actually only 1.6 seconds quicker. Now, don't get me wrong. If we put up a setup for that car, obviously I reckon we could probably squeeze another second or even a second and a half out of it. But then we could also do the same with maybe the McLaren of 2008. In terms of maybe first lap, you know, as I say, it's really, really interesting that I think, personally, you know, to see the difference. 2 seconds, like, for McLaren, that's what they've gained in the space of a century. Not good. I'd at least expect to be better than that. Nah. It was a good lap, 2 fairly decent laps. So, there we go. Obviously, next time, we'll do the Chinese Grand Prix, okay, as you can hopefully understand. And, yeah, obviously, then that will be that for that. So, I'm going to obviously quickly put on a song, and then obviously, that'll be the end of today's video for Modern Car versus Classic Car. Tell me who you think will win the Bahrain Grand Prix. I hope we see a real close battle. Because, right, don't get me wrong. Yes, I'm a Vettel fan. But I don't want to see Vettel run away with it, if you know what I mean. I want to see Vettel work for it. Because I think that's the best type of success. If you can see your team work for it, win it, and then you can celebrate. When you see a team dominate, like, and have really no competition, yeah, okay, hats off to the men and women at Brackley, but come on, let's face reality. You could have literally not set up the car and probably still won the race. Like, that's my point. You probably could have made a mistake in the pit stops and still win the race. Hopefully that won't be the case, obviously. And then obviously, yeah, okay, Red Bull Honda did well at Australia, but we got to remember, it's a street track. And let's be honest, okay, here, being a street track, are they going to be that close? Okay, maybe in Bahrain where it's all about power circuit? I don't think so. So, see you all next time for another video for round number, well, it'd be round number, what round number? It'll be round 3, of course. So, see you all next time.
Dreaming of a life beyond the sun, trying to find a place to run. It's just you and me tonight, chasing love or chasing life. All I know is that right now you are the one.
All I ever needed was your love, hoping that my heart would be enough. It's just you and me tonight, chasing love and chasing life. All I know is that right now you are the one. I would
try to catch the light before it's gone.